Hatchlings, it's DragonFaether and welcome back to the channel, and on today's episode we have a very exciting video because one, it's a book review which I haven't done in like years, so it's been a quick minute, and two, we have a book from a very special Wiccan in our community. So you probably guessed from the title of the video, but I'll be reviewing Wicca, a modern guide to witchcraft and magic by our very own Harmony Nice. I'm very excited to review this because one, I haven't made a book review in like eons, and two, because we all love and adore Harmony Nice, now don't we? So let's get right on into this book review. If you're new here to the channel, please hit the subscribe button down below as I make new enchanted videos every week. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss my future videos. Am I right? And even, yeah, you probably won't get notified anyway. Just know I post new magical videos every week, and we got you, fam. So welcome to the channel. As you probably can guess from the title of this book, it is about Wicca, witchcraft, and magic. Pretty straightforward. First impressions of this book when I got it, I am in love with the aesthetic. As you guys can tell, I have a permanent autumn altar behind me. I was gonna change it for Yule, but I just decided, oh my god, I love autumn so much. I need an autumn altar all the time so I can always have those vibes. And this book literally perfectly matches that aesthetic. I absolutely love it. I love that it's a hardcover because it's durable, and most like witchy Wiccan, like mystical books that I have are not hardcover. I don't think I actually own maybe one that's a hardcover, but honestly not many. So I really love that it's a hardcover. Hardcover books are my favorite, mostly because they're more durable and they last you longer, and I read books a lot, so like me personally, when I get a book, I fuck it up if it's a paperback. That's just me. I also love the cover designs on the back as well, around Harmony's face, and just the little details with the like diamonds and butterflies. But this is the cover of the book, and parts of it are shimmery, and it looks like that's like supposed to be a font of like Harmony Nice's signature. So it's very well done, very lovely, and this is the binding of the book. And I just think it's absolutely darling. It's totally modernized the way that the cover is presented, and it is like totally the Tumblr-y aesthetic, if you ask me. So before I get into what I love about the book and what I don't like so much about the book, let's read the synopsis on the back of the book so you have a better idea of what the book is about. It says, "To me, Wicca will always be about experiencing the earth, working with what you can find, and practicing the craft for its true meaning. It promotes equality in all and has brought me many benefits: acceptance, kindness, and self-love." Harmony Nice is at the heart of a growing community of modern-day Wiccans who practice natural magic to improve their own lives and the world around them. In Wicca, she encourages you to explore the positive impact that ritual, meditation, and embracing nature can have on your creativity, confidence, and sense of self-worth. Discover how to cast spells, start your own book of shadows, join a coven, and feel empowered to follow a path that feels good and true to you. Really good synopsis, and after reading the book, yes, it hits all of those points pretty well. And it's a great book for beginners, and I'm going to emphasize that because this book is geared towards beginners. So those of you who may not really practice very much, who really don't know where to start, this book is for you. For those of you who've been practicing for a while, like me, I've almost been practicing for a decade, it might not be the book that you'd be gravitating to. What I love about this book is its autumn aesthetic, obviously. Autumn is my favorite time of the year. It is when I feel most magical, I feel at my most powerful as a witch, and I absolutely love the fact that I will be basically redesigning my altar to fit this book on it. Like, I know that's a little ridiculous, but honestly though, it is amazing, and it's great for anyone who loves autumn themed anything, and for me personally, it was just a very nice touch to the book. Something else that I really love about this book is that she touches upon how magic, witchcraft, and Wicca can really influence and be beneficial for your mental health. I really haven't seen this covered in any other like specifically Wiccan witchcraft magic book before, which kind of surprises me because of how much it has personally benefited my mental health. I know I really have only started recently discussing mental health on this channel, which I want to explore and discuss more because I think it is so unbelievably important to have good mental health and to have an open discussion and conversation about it, to destigmatize it and normalize the discussion of mental health. This book definitely takes a step in that direction. I really appreciate how she discusses how it can be beneficial to your mental health because in my personal practice, sometimes in the darkest nights of my life, the only thing that has brought me back to life, if you will, is magic. The only thing that has pulled me out of that dark place is witchcraft. The only thing that has made me truly feel loved and accepted is Wicca. And when I first started practicing the craft, I did identify as a Wiccan. I no longer do, but Wicca was one of those things that I always looked forward to, that always made me excited to be alive, and that gave me that sense of purpose, if that makes sense. So I really appreciate that she does discuss mental health in this book, because it should be discussed more in books of Wicca and witchcraft, if you ask me. Another thing that I absolutely love that she covered in this book is how the online presence of witchcraft and Wicca and magic has really influenced practitioners of today, myself included. I would not know as much as I do, nor would I have a sustainable career if it wasn't for social media and witchcraft. The fact that she discusses this in her book really makes me happy, because she covers like how social media can help you learn about Wicca and witchcraft, but at the same time shouldn't always be taken as fact and shouldn't replace your own practice. It's really important to know that people have these curated versions of their lives that they show on social media, myself included. I mean, pretty much everybody doesn't want to show you their ugly fucking pictures of themselves, right? It's almost like a wrapped package, like very prim and cut package of somebody's life that you're seeing. And the same can be when it goes to videos on Wicca and witchcraft. You never really know what information you're getting, if it's real and true or not, so it's really important to do your own research, but also to remember to not take everything you see online so seriously. Literally take everything with a grain of salt, even my own videos. I work my ass off to research properly before I make videos and make sure I'm giving you the most true and accurate information that I possibly can, with my own personal take on it as well. And in this book, it's really amazing that she covers that and that she brings awareness to that, because again, in other books that I have read on the subject, pretty much have nothing to do with social media other than saying, oh, social media has helped the practice gain more notoriety. That's pretty much the extent that they cover. So the fact that she gives you some tips and tricks on how to, discover and explore and research the craft and Wicca online, while not letting it take 100% accuracy of everything that you read, is really good and I think necessary. Building off of that point, I love that she included some of her favorite witchy tubers in this, and also creators online. She includes some websites that she likes. It's just awesome to see somebody covering this community online, because I feel like in books that I've read, like I said, the most they'll say is, oh, it's helped the practice, people gain knowledge, people gain awareness, and that's pretty much it. They don't really cover how in-depth the online community is. They don't really cover the creators who were doing, good things for this type of subject online, and Harmony really covers that in her book, and I think that it's really important to bring awareness to that, because so many of us, we are doing the best that we can to connect with others and spread the information, to debunk the stereotypes and misconceptions about Wicca and witchcraft, and I love that she covers that and lists some of her favorite creators in her book as well. The last thing that I really loved about this book is the fact that it was 110% a great insight to Harmony's personal craft practice and life. I really enjoyed reading a little bit about her, and I felt like I got to get to know her a little bit better through her book. She creates videos, she's an incredible influencer for our community online, but there's only so much you can gain from her videos, Each topic has its own topic, but in this book, she really goes into in-depth of her personal history and how she discovered her craft and her magic and stuff like that, and her experiences, and I really appreciate that, because as a practitioner who's been practicing for a while, nowadays I learn more from people's personal experience rather than just having a list of correspondences and all of those things, like how to celebrate Sabbats, what does this mean, what does that mean. I pretty much know that already, and that's why I really enjoy learning about the practitioners themselves, because that's where I gain the most information, and that's when I learn the most nowadays in my life and in my practice. And so learning a little bit more about her from her perspective was really insightful, and I absolutely loved getting to know her a little bit more through her book. Moving forward, let's talk about what I didn't really like so much in the book. There were a few things that I was kind of like, I could have done without, but I just wanted to cover them since this is my personal review and experience with reading her book. Going off my last point, I wanted to touch upon that I wish I had more of Harmony's backstory. I wish that she shared a little bit more about herself. There was maybe a couple pages, a chapter-ish, about her and specifically, and I know that this book isn't the Harmony Nice show, you know what I mean? It's a modern guide to witchcraft and magic, so I can definitely appreciate that, but I really wished I got a little bit more about her and her personal craft and her experience within her practice. And I find that really insightful. It helps me get to know the reader, it helps me get to know the author a little bit more, as well as the content creator, because I obviously bought Harmony's book because I love her YouTube channel. I love her videos, they're amazing. And so I wanted to learn just a little bit more about her. So that was one thing that kind of bummed me out, is I didn't get as much about her as I wanted to, but I still got enough to satisfy my need to learn a little bit more, and also just hearing her perspective is really unique and showcases more where she's coming from, especially in her videos. It gave me this whole new perspective on her as a person and where her content comes from, and that's what I really appreciate and love, and I just wish I had a little bit more. My next point is the majority of this book was really geared towards beginners. While I'm saying that's not a bad thing, you know, all of us, you know, we need that good beginner book. I personally wish this book was around when I was a beginner because it would have been the first one that I picked. However, it came out much later for me, but for you, if you're new, you'll really love it. However, for me, the perspective that I got from it was, I just kind of was bummed out by how much of a repetitive type of book it was compared to all the other beginner's guides that I have. In some places was almost verbatim the same information from other beginner's guides for Wicca, like Wicca for Beginners by Thea Saban and Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner, or A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner by Scott Cunningham. That really bummed me out because I honestly felt like I was rereading books I've already read, and there was the majority of the book was dedicated to those correspondences, to information about the Sabbats and Esbats, and again, it's a beginner's guide, so I understand that, but I just wish that it wasn't so similar, I guess, and it didn't seem so like word for word, and kind of bummed me out that I felt like I was rereading a book that I've already read. The last thing that really confused me about this book is that its main part of the title is Wicca. So I figured that it was going to be a book about Wicca, but it does have that part called A Modern Guide to Witchcraft and Magic. So it does kind of seem like it all bleeds together. And the majority of the book did seem like it was more geared towards witchcraft than it was actually Wicca, which kind of bummed me out because we know that Harmony Nice is a Wiccan and she really stresses the difference between Wicca and witchcraft. I do feel like this book was more witchcraft based. It wasn't a Wicca-centered book. Granted, witchcraft is a huge part of Wicca. Many Wiccans practice witchcraft, and I'm not discrediting that at all. I just wish I would have learned a little bit more about Wicca, the actual religion, than witchcraft, the practice, if that makes sense. In conclusion, the book was incredible. I really enjoyed it, it's true. I know there were some things that I didn't really like about the book, but that's with everything. You're always gonna have your pros, you're always gonna have your cons. And for me personally, it was overall a really big hit. I really loved reading it. It gave me this huge sense of nostalgia while I was reading it that reminded me of when I first discovered witchcraft and magic, which honestly really touched my heart and soul because those were the most magical times in my craft, was when I was first discovering magic was real, when I was first reading about it. Feeling like I was rereading a book I've already read in the past, in a sense, almost kind of brought out that childlike wonder in me when beforehand I was reading all those books trying to gain as much knowledge as possible. This book was very nostalgic for me, and I really loved reading it because it did bring that warm, fuzzy sense to me, exactly like the autumn-themed cover of the book itself. I truly love it. I truly recommend it, and I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me personally. However, for a beginner, and from a beginner's perspective, I would give it like a 4.95 out of 5 stars because it's very well written. It's written for the younger generation, I would say, and it's a great introduction to modern practitioners specifically, which is what it was. I wish it was less of a beginner's guide and more of a modern guide, like it says. but at the end of the day, I think it's full of amazing information that you can't find in many other books, if any other books elsewhere on the topic, and I definitely recommend getting it to add it to your collection. It was 110% worth the price. It's about $12 plus shipping, and it was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I basically paid the price of the book and shipping to get it to me like that because I wanted to read it the moment it came out, and I got it like literally 2 or 3 days after I ordered it. I was really shocked. But hey, that's what happens when you pay for shipping. I never really do, so I was like kind of stunned a little bit. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that happened. One thing that I just want to cover really quick is this book comes at the practice of Wicca and witchcraft and magic from a very matter-of-factual and family-friendly perspective, and if you have any members in your family or friends who may not understand, this is a good book to reference. And the reason why I say that is because it does a very good job at dismantling misconceptions. It's a very, very matter-of-factual, like I said, type of take on the practice. It's not like a very radical perspective, nor is it like, oh, Christianity fucked us up. None of that, no. It's coming from a very honest place. It's very genuine and very real and raw. And that's why I really love this book, because if you have family members that may not understand, open to a chapter and let them read a paragraph or two, because it really does give a good name for Wicca, witchcraft, and magic, and I think that is one of the biggest reasons why I recommend it to you guys to get. If you have not gotten it already, please do so. I have a link down below where you can purchase the book if you're interested, and please go subscribe to Harmony Nice's channel if you haven't already. She's an incredible creator for our community, and I am so grateful that she wrote a book for us to enjoy. I absolutely loved reading it. I learned so much about her, and I got a great nostalgic feeling from when I first started practicing Wicca and witchcraft, so I do hope that you will enjoy the book as well. If you're interested in learning a little bit more, I do have a more in-depth blog post that I made within the Hatchling clan and UNICOVEN and all the aminos that I'm drifting through these days, and I wanted to share my review with you guys because it's been so long since I've done a book review, and this book makes me happy, you guys. Like, it just warms my soul, and honestly, it's one of those books that I always want to keep close at hand in case I am feeling down or feeling low or feeling like I need to return to the basics in my craft, because many times when I fall off my path, I return to the basics to help me get inspired again, and this is a book that I will pick up when I need to return to the basics, when I need to be inspired to practice again, and when I want to just brush up on that common knowledge, that fundamental knowledge of Wicca, witchcraft, and magic. I want to give a special thank you to Harmony Nice for taking the time to write this. I know that it's no easy feat to write a book, and you are so endeavorous for doing so, and many of us, thousands of us, are just so grateful for you taking the time to write this and give us a little bit more information on Wicca and witchcraft that we may not have known already. Thank you for being a part of our community, Harmony, and I'm very grateful to have you. And I'm very grateful to have your book, yay! The only thing I wish is that it was signed by her, but that's the only thing. That's the only thing I'm missing. I had a lot of fun making this review, and I had an even more fun time reading this book, and I hope that you do too. If you've already read this book, let me know what you think in the comments down below and what your perspective and opinion on it was, because I'd love to know. And I'd love to have a discussion about this wonderful, witchy, magical Wiccan read in the comment section below. Much love to you guys, and as always, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky little hatchlings. But until next time, blessed be and bye.